In the 12th century, the Aubrac plateau was a formidable wasteland from which bandits chased travelers away. A pilgrim named Abelard vowed to build a refuge for travelers, and thus the Aubrac Abbey was born. Not only was a shelter built, but cattle were also brought to the region. For centuries, locals have remembered these efforts through time-honored ceremonies. On the last Sunday of May, people clear the streets as cattle adorned with garlands of flowers and copper bells are led to lush pastures. These high-quality natural grasslands now closely connect the once barren region with a particular food, cheese.
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Bonjour. Cheers.
Cheers.
My name is Zhang Yunjia. I'm a chef from Yunnan province. Together with my good friend Jun Wu, I'm exploring food that connects China and France. Former French President Charles de Gaulle famously quipped, "How can you govern a country with 246 varieties of cheese?" Meanwhile, Chinese records of fermenting milk into wine date back to the Western Han Dynasty. In this episode, I'll travel across China and France, appreciating milk in its many forms, drinking it and eating it.
法国人想尽办法变着花样吃奶酪。
The first stop of our journey is the northern French port commune of Saint-Malo. This city is sometimes known as the City of Pirates. Situated at a maritime hub, Saint-Malo has been plagued by raiders since the 16th century. The entire town is made up of ancient yet sturdy stone buildings, constructed to withstand attacks and invasions. The region also boasts some of the highest waves in Europe, reaching 8 stories high, making it a challenging coastline for would-be attackers. However, the sea brought not only enemies, but also food and sea salt, both of which predate pirates. In butter-rich Europe, Brittany salted butter made from local sea salt is in a class of its own. Hold on, weren't we talking about cheese? Butter and cheese, do you know the difference? Simply put, the key to cheese lies in fermentation. It's like yogurt, but with a higher degree of fermentation. Although solid, cheese is essentially milk, and butter is essentially fat. Butter does not rely on fermentation in the same way cheese does. Its secret lies in separation. Whole milk is separated into skimmed milk and fat, then the fat is concentrated repeatedly until it becomes butter. Making butter at home is probably easier than you think.
在家制作简易黄油很简单，只需要3步：摇，再摇，一起摇。
Thorough shaking allows the fat in the milk to break down quickly and clump together. Shaking in a container is the most basic method. If you try this at home, using a blender is a smarter choice.
黄油已经出来了，还不错哦。
There's no need to elaborate on how to enjoy butter. As for enjoying salted butter, I'm visiting another city in the Brittany region, Douarnenez, where the most decadent pastry in Europe was allegedly born. The bakery I am about to visit upholds traditional methods. Its owner, Thierry Lucas, is the busiest person in this small town.
Bonjour.
Thierry is making kouign-amann. Amann is Breton for butter. The making of this pastry is challenging, but watching its creation is even more so.
那么大块黄油啊！我知道它是热量隐形炸弹，但是没有想到它要放那么多黄油。然后又是一大罐子的白砂糖，这个比例真的是面团、黄油和白砂糖是1比1比1的量。
C'est un gâteau qu'on fait à Douarnenez depuis une centaine d'années environ. Voilà, et on essaye de perpétuer la tradition à Douarnenez.
Thierry's boulangerie has been open for over 50 years. For the sweet-toothed people of Brittany, lining up for kouign-amann has become a daily routine. It is even more popular than the unassuming baguette. After 25 minutes of baking at 200 degrees, the kouign-amann are ready. Sweet milk, rich butter, and savory sea salt, enough to make anyone forget about calories.
黄油大爆炸的味道。
On special holidays, Lucas also prepares special versions of kouign-amann.
On détient le record du monde au Guinness Book avec un kouign-amann de 2 mètres de diamètre.
他会经常为当地的一些马拉松的运动员烤一些这个安曼卷、面粉、糖、黄油，还有什么比这个更能补充体力呢 ？Maxi。
It is said that sweet but not cloying is the highest standard by which Chinese people judge desserts. For such diners, kouign-amann is definitely not the first choice if they want to taste salty butter. But don't worry, for I will teach them a recipe for less sweet butter. Many Chinese people really enjoy spicy food. When salted butter meets heat, something unique is created. Various spices can help balance the richness of butter. This salted butter is prepared to better suit the Chinese palate. After bidding farewell to Brittany's sea salt butter, I'll now travel to another part of France in search of a cheese. This region is world famous for its wines. That's right, I'm in Burgundy, and the cheese I am looking for is also connected to wine.
在勃艮第的乡村，大家更喜欢吃的是软质奶酪。在我身后的这家已经有25年的家族企业，他们生产着一种被号称全法国最臭的奶酪，就让我们一起去看看吧。
We have previously discussed the difference between cheese and butter, but what distinguishes soft cheese from hard cheese? France has over 1,000 varieties of cheese, each made with distinctive methods, but ultimately they can be classified as either hard or soft. If soft cheese is likened to tofu, then hard cheese is like dried tofu. Soft cheese contains about 60% moisture. Additional pressing makes hard cheese much denser, with a moisture content of approximately 40%. Typically, 8 kilograms of milk produces 1 kilogram of soft cheese. The same amount of hard cheese requires 12 kilograms of milk. The stinky cheese I am about to explore is actually a variety of soft cheese.
这里一进来就有一股迎面而来的，其实不是我期待的那种芝士的味道，是有股鱼腥味。看，这些就是滤出来的乳清。哇！
C'est le tranchage du caillé pour augmenter la surface de contact extérieure et améliorer l'égouttage du caillé.
好 好，我就听不懂了。Like this?
Explique.
Okay. Can you try me one?
Là,
Ah.
hop,
Oh.
et ensuite on tend comme ça.
啊，是。哦，哇塞，这个其实它比我想象中的要更硬一些，不像我们的水豆腐。哦，尝一下
Yes, and you can eat.
，eat yes。
Yes.
就是非常纯正的酸奶味，老酸奶的味道，没有糖的老酸奶的味道。嗯。
Inside this small room, Époisses cheese is being produced. More than 500 years ago, farmers in the village of Époisses first began making this type of cheese. Producing Époisses cheese is physically demanding. Locals use no industrialized pressing techniques, relying solely on their own body weight to expel the whey. This preserves more minerals, which contribute to the formation of flavor compounds.
OK. Yeah. 哦，等一下，喂，1, 2, 3. Oh, mission complete.
In 1954, due to the heavy loss of labor during the Second World War, this cheese temporarily vanished from France. Public opinion was divided, as it is with China's stinky tofu. Some appreciated its rich aftertaste, while others were put off by its pungent smell, which comes from a very special liquid.
And let me
Yes.
taste and try. Okay, just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a little bit allergic to wine. Yes. Ooh. Wow.
It's very strong. It's normal.
就艾普瓦斯和其他奶酪不一样的是，他们在最后一个步骤会在表皮上去不断的擦洗，用勃艮第制作的红酒之后剩下的果皮做的蒸馏酒，这个也是造就了艾普瓦斯和其他芝士不一样的风味。现在我们来到了最后的这个熟成室，它比我想象中的还要冷，大概 Alan 先生说有9度左右。每隔3天，他们会把这些熟成的芝士再拿出去进行这个葡萄蒸馏酒的水洗过程。
Distilled wine, rich in tannins, sugars, and yeast, provides a moist and nourishing environment for microbes on the cheese's surface. As these microbes proliferate, Époisses cheese gives off its characteristic pungent smell.
So that's our snack for today. 其实我觉得 this one matures really well. 这个其实闻着没有想象中的那么臭，这个是发酵的非常好的一块芝士。很多时候很多食物呢就是闻着臭，吃着香，不要让你的鼻子欺骗了你。Cheers.
Cheers.
In the past, due to the importance of cheese in French cuisine, cheesemakers were playfully nicknamed wizards. They mastered the art of coagulating milk and transforming it into both cheese and their livelihood. I recommend enjoying Époisses with fruit. The cheese's mellow richness contrasts beautifully with the fruit's freshness and sweetness. Paired with a glass of white wine from Burgundy, you can truly taste the ancient magic of these culinary wizards. Having bid farewell to the butter of Brittany and the soft cheese of Burgundy, I am going to head to the third stop of this adventure, the small town of Laguiole in southern France. 65 years ago, young locals here saved a cheese on the verge of extinction. The story begins with a distinctive type of architecture, small stone houses unique to alpine pastures, built on the mountain's summer pastures. They served a few purposes: pasture management, cheese production, and storage. These temporary workshops are the birthplace of Laguiole cheese. By the mid-20th century, as the highland population migrated to cities, pastures faced abandonment, and the little stone houses gradually began to vanish. Laguiole cheese soon practically disappeared. In 1960, a group of young farmers founded a mountain cooperative named Jeune Montagne. They vowed to revive the once extinct cheese, bringing it back to the highlands and onto people's tables. They centralized milk collection, standardized production techniques, and restored old warehouses to ensure the survival of traditional methods. In 2008, Laguiole cheese was awarded the European Union's Protected Designation of Origin, or PDO, certification, transforming an almost extinct cheese into one of France's premium varieties. With the revival of Laguiole cheese, dairy cows naturally returned to their pastures. Milk quality remains a crucial reason why Laguiole cheese is renowned worldwide.
Voici Soulage, la vache qui produit le plus de lait du troupeau, et elle s'appelle comme le village, donc c'est la reine du village, Soulage.
For the animal's welfare and higher quality milk, no more than 6,000 liters of milk is collected from each dairy cow in the Laguiole pasture per year. This figure guarantees that milk is produced naturally without artificial intervention.
I have all under control. No. Okay.
The cows have returned, and Laguiole cheese has returned. But the little stone houses for storing cheese have disappeared. However, a palace for cheese has been built instead.
Oh! Bienvenue à notre cave des merveilles du fromage AOP Laguiole à Jeune Montagne.
Wow, Maxi. Oh my God, this is the most magnificent cellar that I've ever seen.
After we test it.
Okay, so what's the weight for 1 ton?
Of 45 kilo. You want to try? No, it's too heavy for you, I think.
Yes, I can do that. Don't drop it. Okay, oh, I'll put it back. It's okay, I'll put it back.
You can stop.
Okay, I can stop.
Yes, I think.
老板刚刚吓到了，把我把他的这一轮知识掉下去。So how much is it gonna cost?
Oh.
I mean the customer wise.
Yes, for 1 kilo, 15 euro here. But when the cheese arrives in Paris or perhaps in China, the price is more high. Very nice.
Voila. Yeah, good. First, we're gonna test the elasticity of the cheese.
You can smell also. Better.
Yes. 就尝起来非常纯粹的味道，就像是刚刚从烤炉里烤出来的面包一样，还有淡淡的青草香。如果想要品尝到拉吉奥勒最美味的风味，我们还需要找到一位厨艺高超的人。Bonjour.
Bonjour, how are you?
Sebastian, chef, pleasure. So, what are we gonna make?
Oh, we're gonna make aligot. Do you know aligot?
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 Aligot, no.
Aligot is Laguiole's most famous dish. Unlike traditional mashed potatoes, this version includes fresh Laguiole cheese.
再有名的硬质奶酪也有软着吃的时候。Can I give you a hand?
Yeah, but it's not ready.
I have muscle.
Really? Wow.
Yes, look.
A high water content allows the cheese to melt into a smooth liquid, adding a creamy texture to mashed potatoes, while also offering a visual delight reminiscent of a cheesy waterfall.
Ouh, j'ai plus les bras, c'est long.
此时此刻，再也不能找到比这个更完美的东西了。 Parfait.
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 France's reputation as the kingdom of cheese owes much to its geography. 2/3 of its terrain consists of plains, and abundant rainfall provides rich water resources. Natural pastures are found across France. Good grass feeds healthy cattle, and healthy cattle produce good milk. And if we follow this line of reasoning, China has the largest grassland area in the world. Not only is it home to 3 of the world's 4 major grasslands, but the ecology of these grasslands are also remarkably diverse. They span thousands of kilometers from east to west and stretch from tropical to alpine, south to north. A well-developed animal husbandry industry has given rise to a rich variety of dairy products. The rich diversity of dairy products in China is thanks to the spread of dairy consumption from pastoral to agricultural regions. When the dietary cultures of nomadic herding and farming blend, new flavors emerge. Such transformations first took place along the borders between semi-agricultural and semi-pastoral areas. More than 2 billion years ago, this land was a vast ocean. Due to tectonic movements, the Helan Mountains of Ningxia and Inner Mongolia were formed. The folds visible throughout the mountains record earth-shaking changes. The ancestors who lived here also left marks of their time on rocks, with sheep being the most frequently depicted animal in petroglyphs.
我可以试一试吧，我试一试吧，是不是要先把这个脚给夹住？哎呀，哎呀，夹紧，哎呀，有点痛。不行，我可能把它弄痛了。
那狗狗就吃完了。
不是我的手势的问题，是因为奶刚刚可能小羊已经吃掉了。
没奶。
那咱可以，好，你去吧，去吧。
Milk, fire, and time. That's all that's needed for this dairy product. Boil the milk while stirring continuously, then cool it for 6 hours. What we need naturally rises to the surface. Three kilograms of goat milk produces 1 layer of milk skin, and that is the purpose of my visit. Unlike cheese, which requires a complex aging process, milk skin requires minimal technique, yet has a highly concentrated flavor. It embodies the culinary philosophy of simplicity. Milk is a staple of nomadic culture, while agricultural civilizations foster rich crops and refined cooking techniques. Arriving at the crossroads where nomadic and agrarian civilizations meet, there's no harm in being a little bolder. Milk skin roll combines bread with local goji berries, while caramel milk skin is cooked over charcoal fire. Chefs find great pleasure in inventing new ways to enjoy these dishes. Among all mammals, humans are the only known species that continue to consume animal milk into adulthood. Milk spoils easily, yet it carries ancient human ingenuity. No one knows exactly how many varieties of dairy products exist worldwide, but the good news is that the adventure to track them all down might never end.